on returning now, so
Oh, gee.
don't go flying through the windshield.
Okay, somebody parked in the field. Who's that? Who's that? Just
Who's
goes
what?
driving through the field and parks there.
I don't usually allow that, but
That was hard on me, driving on your newly planted little rows here.
it'll be fine.
But then I see this is driving on them.
Right. I don't know, something about a car though, or a pickup, they pack it a little harder than a tractor
really?
with the lugs on there.
Oh.
It seems like all the pressure is on the lug, and then the dirt doesn't get squished because, except where the lug is, where a car, that the tread is too narrow, so the whole tire just flattens it all down. I'm sure everybody is really in awe with that.
Well, I don't understand it, so I'm gonna pretend I do. The treads are.
So the idea, do they want to know about tires and tracks?
No, I just told them I didn't want to drive on it, and I don't know why. I must have been told one time in the past 30, however many years we've been married, that you shouldn't drive on it, and then you told me to drive on it, and then I was kind of having a
it's that
little
time.
anxiety episode.
I ain't got time to drive up there, so you had to come to me.
Okay.
Yes. So a race car, they take and grind the tread off of the race car to give it more grip. Well, when your tractor tire and your
There's a big dip coming here.
track lugs get ate off and smoothed out. Yeah, hang on now. When they get, oh yeah, it's a little aggressive.
It is.
When they get wore out, it becomes just like a race car tire, and then that packs. You want to always have as deep of lug on your
Oh, lug, tread.
tread or lug.
I mean, if you're talking about my car, it's a tread.
It's tread on
On a tractor, it's a lug.
a lug.
Okay.
Right. So you want nice deep lugs, because that's what sinks into the ground, bites in, gives you traction. Plus, well, if you don't have any lugs left, you've got a race car tire, and all that does is smashes all the dirt down and makes a solid highway. And everybody thinks tires are expensive, but compaction is more damaging. So I was better on the better average of average
So you have less compaction on the dirt.
if you have good tread. See how easy that was to say, Amy? You're so much better at this than me.
We just help each other out.
That's right. Teammates.
I don't think I've seen you for 2 days for sure. And I think part of the thing with our videos versus the farm videos is they're not in the same timeline at all. We've had so many water raining episodes. They planted for a few days, then they didn't for many, like almost what, two and a half weeks?
Yeah,
Woo.
2.5, almost 3. It was not good. Our early
Then it
spring
started,
is gone.
I think you got a day and a half. Then it started raining again. And now it is Sunday, and Tuesday they're predicting nearly 2 inches.
I've
At
heard
least
3.
this app, it changes. You know how this goes with the weather forecast. So it's really been intense the last few days. And then you were trying to plant in a lot of mud and all that. But today seems like this field is working very well.
Yeah, we had to relearn a lesson that we knew for years. After you dig a field that is questionable, it's got to lay for 24 hours. Just don't even
think about it.
Think about it. But because of certain reasons, we went in there about 12 hours after, and well, it wasn't good. The experience was, it took some years off my life, I believe. It was a lot of misery. And that will be on, well, not all of it, but it was so bad nobody even videoed anything. That's how bad it was. Hold on now, here we're
I
coming
know
back.
that I was on my way to a town, so I called to see if anybody needed anything. I called Chet, and no, I don't think so. And then he said, nope, no, or I think we're okay. And then I go, okay. And then I must have started to try to have a conversation or something. He said, I really gotta go, Mom. And he goes, thank you for calling. I said, what's going on? And he said, well, I have 2 planters down. 2 planters down.
Yeah.
Must have been you and Brody and trying to plant corn. And that was the muddy day you're referring to. And yes, so you just have to relearn sometimes. Some things that you knew, but you relearned it.
We relearned it. We knew it, but we didn't remember how important it was because it just didn't work. Unless you want to shorten your life, because that's what it'd be.
I got back from my trip to town many hours later, but I brought some roasted chicken. And I go out into the shop and there's Brody coming out of the tractor at the planter attached in the shop. I said, well, this isn't a good sign. And I think the hardest part of that day was it was so sunny and so nice out that your brain is like saying,
it's gotta work.
It has to work. It's beautiful. It's sunny. It's time to go. But it wasn't time to go.
It wasn't time to go.
That little piece you got them right there.
Painting the screen.
So cool.
Although it's hard to do that, isn't it? Even show them the water.
Okay.
Show them the.
It's like a little lake almost.
Yeah, it's.
You can't plant there.
No, that'd be the end of the day.
You wouldn't go in there.
No. Well, what now? What are we going to talk about?
Did you get this done already?
What are we going to talk about
Are you
now?
done here?
No, we got to go up there to another little spot.
Well, I went to church this morning. Woke up early. Coffee was already done, and you were already gone. And so then I went to early service, which next week is they're going to one service for
Summer service.
And starting the summer schedule. Anyway, yeah. And he's been preaching on Romans 8, and this week was about how God uses everything for good according to his purpose. And it's interesting because that doesn't mean, it isn't saying that everything's going to be hunky-dory all the time and you're going to have a happy, happy life. He wants you to.
No, I wish it worked that way.
Refine us, and sometimes it's through trials that happens, and sometimes it's hard to go through pain after pain, and what did you call it? Tortured souls.
Yeah. Yeah.
And try to make sense of it. And I think us as humans are always trying to make sense of it. That we have to just trust in the sovereignty. Like,
what's sovereignty really mean?
He is the king over all. He is sovereign. Like, I watched The Crown, which is was a mini series about royalty and the British royalty, and they called Queen Elizabeth, well, the sovereign, and I'm like,
that don't sound good.
No, because she was above
everybody
the
else.
kingdom, which is the United Kingdom, and but that's maybe not it's not a good thing. But the truth is that God is sovereign over all the things and all of us and the earth and everything. So anyway, I got emotional, and yeah, I had to leave.
Had to leave.
Well, it's either sit in the pew and start sobbing and everybody gets
Good
all uncomfortable,
night.
or
Yeah.
you get up and you walk through we were like in the front, sitting with another couple, because I went by myself, and she's like, you want to sit with us? Yes. And then there we were, and then I walked through, and tears were running down my face, and I was just going to go to the bathroom for a little while, and I decided I'm just going to go to my car.
You know, that wouldn't happen if you'd sit where I would sit. I'm more of a get in the back corner. Not with Amy. If you go anywhere with Amy, you can't see. Bring your other pair.
The tall people are standing in front of me.
Stand on your Bible.
I'm gonna stand on my Bible.
Maybe that's a good T-shirt.
Stand on the truth.
Stand on the Bible.
Yeah. I suppose it is.
Yeah. How did we get into this conversation?
Well, you asked what I was doing, and I don't know why, but.
Yeah.
And I memorized that verse, and can I come up with it now? No.
There's too many other ones bouncing around in there.
Well, they talked about the Awana, which are the kids learning Bible verses, and wow, holy smokes, did they learn a lot in 1 year.
I could never. That was the most frustrating thing is memorization. That barely remember my name, and I'm supposed to remember a whole
sentence or 10. Oh, yep.
Hold on, this is gonna be a tight one.
Don't go in the lake. Nope, we didn't make it in the lake.
Yeah, this is
Cut up kind of deal, isn't it?
Wouldn't it be something if everything was perfect? I could have half-mile long or mile-long rounds, square, no double planting. Well, then everybody would want to do it.
They would? I wouldn't.
Okay, not everybody then. Yeah, nobody would do it if they had a day like we did a few days ago. Nobody would farm. We'd all be a bunch of skinny sticks.
I didn't call you or nothing that day. I didn't hear from you. You didn't call me. I'm like, I'm just gonna leave him alone. And then last night you're like, if you don't get in the tractor, you're not even gonna get to ride with me this year in the tractor. And just like that, after all that icky. Pretty soon corn planting's gonna be done already.
We're gonna try to get done tonight.
Really?
If it don't rain. And by that, there is a couple of special spots,
wow.
So we aren't gonna be done. I think we get to go and replant some stuff from the first plant. Hey,
you got all that, not full days, but some good days in, and then it started raining. It was cold, and so the poor little seed sat there and sat there.
It didn't mind the cold. It just didn't like that prolonged wetness of day after day of rehydration.
So the cold's not the deal.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's the saturation. The kernel rots, and it's
I gotta have you hold this if you have a second.
Oh, well, here, come along here now. This ain't gonna... No, we can't do this because now the headland's here. Here, they're back.
I thought of that when I saw the end coming in. Okay.
We might have to just push pause, Amy. And,
that's right. I remember. I can edit now.
Right.
I used to not be able to edit, so we'd have to do the whole thing in one shot.
How is that? What is that?
Tractor tank. Oh.
Tractor tank volume low. Yeah.
What does that mean?
I was pumping the fertilizer off of the tractor onto the planter. Long story, but this planter cannot suck fertilizer from the tractor. So you gotta pump the fertilizer back to the planter tank, and that's how this thing works. Different than my old one. It's okay, but I kind of like the old one, so I could mix up a different batch of fertilizer for whatever other field. I could have two different fields loaded up, but that's not how this one works. So I'm trying to remember that. Okay, we're gonna go to this next little field over here. So you put them on hold, and I should sit up straighter. What's the matter with me?
I know, we have that.
We'll be right back.
Go, team, go.
No.
That reminds me of whenever that weekend was that you worked on putting the dock in, and I kept on having to be a cheerleader and go, "You guys can do it." That was terrible.
It wasn't good neither.
It's right up there with the planting day, maybe not that bad.
No, not that bad.
No.
But nothing worse than discouragement, disappointment.
I think
Got
people wonder if
aspects.
there isn't an easier way.
Okay, hang on now.
The end of the road. Ah! Like the next fields are right there, and their little baby corns are coming up.
Yeah, they look pretty nice.
They
over
look
there.
very nice.
Crazy, isn't
I
it?
just love it.
They're 2 inches tall, and that was the first planting, 2 inch tall corn, and now everybody else is out trying to get the rest of it in. I don't know.
It's amazing, all of it to me. It's a battle. That's not amazing, but the amazing part is when the little seed turns into glorious plants.
And royal.
Anyway, the dock, is there any easier way? I know that I don't know of any.
No, you could live on a farmyard and not have a dock. Yeah, God, those are the good old days. Go out, feed the 7 cows that we had.
Yeah.
Do they know that we lived on a farm?
We did for 15 years, a farmyard.
Yeah.
An old house with lots of mice and snakes and salamanders and
I think they know
bats.
about it. I believe they know.
Well, they do if they look back.
Right.
I don't even know what the video would be, but it was nice. The boys liked that. I think they, the big yard we had a really nice grove, which protected us a lot more from wind and stuff. Sometimes we didn't even know the blizzard was as
Nope.
bad as it was.
It's like a Christmas card up there in the
Yeah,
winter.
it's true. It's gorgeous. And there was a lake, too, which we called the slough at that time.
Slew at that time, everything was so much
Dry.
lower. Yeah. Water levels increased in the last few years.
What are these big holes?
Well, that's Mr. Gopher, and then over on the other side is where Mr. Badger decided he's going to go see and have a little talk to Mr. Gopher, and I'm sure it didn't end up very well for
So
Gopher.
that badger digs after the gopher?
Yeah, that's what badgers do. What?
I said, oh,
You didn't know?
I
Changing
don't
lines
know
here.
about badgers. Why would I know about badgers?
They're ferocious, man, killing beasts.
Gopher killing beasts.
Oh, you wouldn't want to mess with a badger neither. I'll guarantee you, you would be in
No.
a world of hurt.
You lost a dog to a badger, didn't you?
Well, the dog didn't die. The dog maybe wished it did die, but
Oh.
yeah, it got a horrible wound. That's back when we were kids, so.
Well, I must have heard the story once.
And that was a farm dog, so you couldn't kill it.
Well, you could, but
Well,
and also you didn't ever go to the vet.
No, there was no vets. I don't think there was a vet around back then, huh?
The pigs had vets.
Yeah, there was a vet. There was a vet. But there was no vet called.
Right.
We just used a lot of hydrogen
Peroxide,
peroxide.
I was gonna say. Plus, they always lick their wounds and.
Oh, this was on the back of the neck. Big jagged
Oh.
wound.
Gee.
Yeah, it was something. It was old Snoopy that got the beating. Banging into the... It happened right next to the trailer house that we lived in. I don't know if I was 10 years old, but woke up to this horrible growling and barking, and well, you can about imagine the noises with the big fight.
Yikes.
And they were flying around so bad they were banging into the tin on the bottom of the trailer house, making a big commotion. Thought the wall was coming down. Yeah. Well, Amy, I don't know how much more do they
Well,
want.
we had started talking about the dock,
Wow.
and then we
Look at this. I
now?
almost screwed this up.
talked.
I almost planted the field the wrong direction. I guess we never had a talk on what direction to farm this little 40, but okay, now I gotta find a line.
Slow down.
I gotta
Regroup.
regroup here.
Thinking about badgers maybe a little much. Okay, regrouping.
Tillage, harvest, north line.
We'll get back to the dock. Okay, we got our bearings now.
That was a horrible entry. Oh, there's got to be a setting. I know there's a setting to faster acquire the line faster setting.
Oh,
I knew where the little adjustment was on my other tractor. Do you notice how warm it's getting in here?
I'm not warm at all.
I gotta get a vent open here. What were we talking about now? Let's focus here.
If there is possibly a better way to install the dock.
Oh, I'm thinking of a better dock in general.
Oh,
I've been told that you can actually take and build your own dock out of field rock, and I don't know what you'd top it off with that I could afford. Something that I don't have to mess around with no more and take off the water, put on the water. A floating dock, I've been told we got too much wind because we are so open there. The northwest wind would destroy the floating dock, which I can believe. But then you don't have to take that out in the winter neither, I believe.
right.
If anybody's got any real...
Well, there's plenty of ideas that were on our last video that people have said, but I don't know if they would work like you said. Would they, all the variables we have.
Well, you've been reading comments?
Yep.
Oh. Well, then disregard everything I just said.
And we have an aluminum dock, and you cannot leave an aluminum dock in the water. Because why?
Freezes and wrecks it.
Bends it. I don't know.
When,
We've never tried it.
It wouldn't
Nobody
survive.
tries it because somebody must have at one time, and it just becomes like part of the golden rule.
Yeah, when the ice would come off the water, come off the lake, the big chunks of ice that would get pushed over on a lake west of us 20 miles. There's been years where the ice breaks up and we get a real hard northwest wind, and it takes a bunch. Google ice, what is it called? Ice push?
Oh.
It'll push the ice. The wind will push the big ice cubes up on shore and keep pushing them and go right through house walls and destroy everything. Go Google that. You won't believe it.
Yeah, that's no good.
I've watched a few. It's impressive. Mother Nature. Yeah, well, what did
So
you
anyway, we didn't
figure
get
out
it
your
done.
Bible verse?
All the,
Oh, now we're back to the dock
we didn't
again?
get it done. We have to get the dock boards on, and I guess you're waiting for what? The water to go down some?
Gotta get lower water. It's just too deep.
So there's a lot of variables when putting in the dock. It's never the same every year because of that water, because of whatever. It is what it is, right? As we say.
It is what
It is what it is. And it's usually a 2-hour thing. And that's
Hello. That's my low tank level alert on the tractor, and I know it's empty because I emptied it. Yeah, Amy, weren't you going to...
And we know that God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. That's the verse. I remembered it.
There you go.
Those who have been called, He works for the good. That doesn't mean that good is always happening to you. It means He's working for the good of those, me, you, those who know Him. He wants to work for the good of you. He wants to refine. I see it as, well, they call it sanctification, which is a confusing thing to me, but basically, He wants to, the next verse is so that you can conform to Jesus' likeness. So He's working and using trials and hard things in your life to conform or transform. Metamorphosis is the actual root word that word comes from. And to morph you to be more like him. So that means you have to spend more time, seek him. Because if you look at the circumstances, if you look at the mud holes, or the losses, or the illnesses, or the world, are not going to be having such a good thing going on, you gotta look to him. Because there's a lot of bad. The good, the bad, and the ugly, I think, is what Pastor Hector said.
Good, bad, and ugly.
The good, the
I
bad, and
haven't
the
seen
ugly.
a good Clint Eastwood movie for a couple of years. Ever since he disconnected Dish. That's right, Amy.
Wham, wham, wham.
No more Dish. No more TV. Just YouTube.
Well, we do have another TV, but there's not much to watch on there. Is there a movie channel on there?
I don't know how to work it.
We should disconnect that too then.
I suppose just throw it all
Let's
out.
do that this summer.
Yep. No more nothing. Just sit and look at the wall.
You could look at me.
And then I'd get in trouble for staring. That's right.
What you looking at?
She would.
What is that? What you looking at, Willis?
Yeah. Okay, that's enough of this here. The poor people are gonna send the people in the white suits for us.
That's possible. All right. Thanks for joining us. Have a blessed day. Happy farming, honey.